Swami Rama told me to witness everything, and it took me a considerable period of time to get an idea of what that meant. And basically, every element of what sounds like philosophy in yoga, sounds like, theories of levels of consciousness and like that. It sounds like philosophy. It's not. It's practice of self-awareness. And that self-awareness is of the little s self-awareness. The principle is that if we are observing and mindful of all of the aspects of ourselves that we are not, gradually we come to know who we are, or what we are. So, elsewhere there is, in one of the other lessons, is a PDF file listing many elements of self-assessment. And it's really a good tool to use. Take it, maybe print it out, and sort of memorize all the levels in there. It seems like there's a lot of information, but if you think about the way you use a computer, you start out not even knowing how to check email. You use a browser and there's all those little drop-down menus. And before long you're moving in and out of softwares using probably hundreds of little drop-down menus and whatever you call those things. And you just learn it gradually. Well, this is the same thing. So if you read about, you learn about, and you observe in yourself the three gunas of sattvas, rajas, and tamas, gradually one day you're noticing that you're eating rajasic food and sattvic food would be better. You're observing the bhutas, the elements of earth, water, fire, air, space. You notice that some aspect of your body, of your mind, or your mind is functioning in alignment with those. You become increasingly aware of the chakras and how they may be predominant at a certain particular point in time. But even the chakras is not who you are. The gunas is not who you are. The five elements of earth, water, fire, air, space are not who you are. But you observe them in yourself. You read the lists. You self-observe. You think about it. You talk to a friend about the nature of who you are. There are 8 rungs of yoga. You observe them in yourself and practice them. There's yamas, niyamas, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. And you let yourself internalize them. They become part of what you're doing. There's 4 kinds of avidya, or not seeing clearly. There's confusion, the temporary and the eternal, the impure and the pure, pain and pleasure, not self and the self. We go to college, we get a degree, and then we take that degree name and we turn it into a noun, we turn it into an identity. We go to law school and we think that who we are is a lawyer. We go to medical school and we think that we are a doctor. We go study accounting, and the next thing you know, we think that who we are is an accountant. And these are all identities that are on the surface. They are not the true self. Every one of these elements you look at, you observe, you see it for what it is. This is what he meant by witness everything. Literally everything. And we use the framework of yoga to provide the elements of what we're observing. In the Yoga Sutra, there's 4 attitudes that Patanjali talks about cultivating in relationship to other people. Each one of them is a practice of meditation in action, of mindfulness, and it can be a practice, a seated practice at meditation time, to cultivate the awareness of these things. One is of friendliness. Sometimes it's called loving kindness. It's compassion. It's supportiveness for both people who are doing good things. And it's cultivating neutrality towards those who you think are mean and not good people. We cultivate the awareness of these attitudes. There's 5 preparations that Patanjali talk about. Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, samadhi, and prajna. Shraddha is reasoned faith. It's a faith, a certainty, not a blind faith like a religious faith, but it's a certainty like you know that you're doing good, you know you're going in the right direction, you know that your meditation practice is evolving, and there's a certainty to it, and it's a kind of faith. Virya means energy. It means you're making a commitment to put energy into practice. Smriti means mindfulness or memory, cultivating an awareness of memory about yourself and about the practices of self-awareness. Samadhi is holding a commitment to the deep concentration that is known as samadhi, whether or not you think you've attained that level of samadhi. Prajna, jna means knowledge, pra is supreme. It means a commitment to know the supreme truth, to know the Atman, to know the self, capital S self. You just let these elements of self-awareness flow. You internalize them, and they become a part of the way in which you view yourself and the way you view yourself in relationship to the world. You witness everything. Nothing's excluded. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep. You develop an attitude that I want to know something about all of them. Lucid dreaming is very popular these days. You want to be aware of your dream world, but you also want to be aware of deep sleep and what it's like to have the mind completely still and empty, just as when you're laying in bed in deep sleep with no dreams, except you want to be conscious. It takes time. That's why they call this practice. You just keep practicing self-awareness. You practice awareness of the little s self in all of the many ways in which that manifests. And gradually what's revealed is the big S self. The consciousness, the pure consciousness, the Atman, the Purusha, that is behind or underneath, that is the witness to everything. Witness everything. Witness everything.